Welcome to National Park Wild. I'm Eric, continuing 2020 Park Recap, where I recap all of the national parks I visited in 2020. The sixth one was the Grand Canyon. Obviously a very great place. We arrived pretty late at night after Petrified Forest, got some beautiful stargazing, and saw a deer. The next morning we prepared for Bright Angel Trail. On the way there, we did get to see some elk. Last time I came, I saw some elk jumping over a fence. That was pretty cool. And apparently the main visitor center was closed due to vicious elk. So we began the Bright Angel Trail, and only about 10 minutes in, we found the highlight of the day, a California condor. This condor was tagged number 97, which is part of the reason why I now remember that number forever. I did not think we were going to see one at all, because, California condors are very, very rare and endangered. I think there are less than 3 dozen in the area at the time, and I got to see one, which was really, really cool. And so, we continued along Bright Angel Trail after that, and my general thought is that this is a very good trail. Not the best, but very, very good. As you go down, you get to see more rock features, and you get to see how far down you've really climbed, which gets to around 3,000 feet below because of the 4.5-mile trek down. And it was a really, really beautiful hike. You more or less are looking out to the same view the whole time as you go down, but it is still a really beautiful hike. And just the idea of going into the Grand Canyon, of course, is very, very cool. On the way down, I will note it's not really that hard. On Bright Angel Trail, about every 1.5 miles, there's a water station and a restroom. So you won't have to worry too much if you're not a very strong hiker. I recommend starting very early in the day because if you don't, the way back up will be much harder. But I'll get to that later. So we continued down the hike. We saw some squirrels, a few lizards, and mostly we were just kind of walking down the canyon, not stopping a whole lot unless a bunch of mules walked by with a tour group. There was a lot of people on the trail despite COVID, but still way less than normal. And after we got to the main point, 4.5 miles down, we were supposedly not supposed to go past that for hiking purposes because of COVID and the fact that Phantom Ranch was closed. However, we were allowed to go to Plateau Point, a relatively flat spur. Plateau Point is a very beautiful part where you exit the forested area that is associated with the sort of village that's in the bottom, and instead, you get to go to this place where you overlook the river. And the Colorado River is really beautiful when you go. You're surrounded by all of these other different features of the Grand Canyon because you're now 3,000 feet below where you were, and you're looking out toward the North Rim, and it's really, really cool to be below the canyon like this. And it's almost on Zion level, which is a absolutely beautiful park. And this whole hike is really cool and all. I really enjoy seeing these other features that you wouldn't get to see when you're above. And in the past 2 visits I went, I only saw the rim and never went down. But the real highlight was going to Plateau Point. This pano is a bit blurry, but I'll have some better photos after, because the river was a cool greenish color. And there's oranges and browns and all sorts of colors in the canyon walls. And it's just an absolutely beautiful hike. On the way back up, it's very, very difficult because at this point it's afternoon, boiling hot. We really struggled to get back to the top, but we made it by the end, and it was a really long hike, 12 miles total, which is, I think, the longest I had done at that point. We saw some more lizards, and then did some sunset stuff. We got to see the sunset at the Grand Canyon, and I definitely recommend going to Navajo Point, Hopi Point, or Yakai Point. There are a couple of others, but those are the best ones. Lippin Point's good for a bit before sunset, I think, but I definitely do prefer the other ones. The Grand Canyon, this is only the first day we were there. We had another day afterwards, and this was a really unforgettable experience. Definitely keep in mind some COVID closures may still be happening, and keep in mind that you must be ready for long hikes. But it was really cool that on my 3rd visit to the Grand Canyon, I finally got to do more than what the average tourist does. It's really beautiful with excellent stargazing, fantastic hiking, abundant wildlife, and an absolutely beautiful natural site, one of the best in the world. And this is just the first part of my trip to Grand Canyon. I'll make another video later this week or so about the other day I spent here, because I did really enjoy my time in Grand Canyon, and it was an absolutely beautiful trip. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content, and stay tuned for part 2. I'll see you next time.